Indonesian hikers don't play games. So for you to act like they don't have the skill set and in this country they can do this and in this country they can do that, then you don't know Indonesian hikers. Because they are extremely good at their craft and they're very, 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 very skilled at mountaineering. I mean, Indonesian hikers will hike in flip-flops and live off of pot meat. And not to say that that's the way that you should hike, but I'm saying don't act like they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I saw that her family was they were shocked that Rinjani wasn't closed down because of their daughter's passing. And while I have so much respect for their grief and what they're probably experiencing and the shock they're going through right now, that's unfair. To close an entire mountain down because of one person's irresponsibility. That's not fair. That's people's livelihood.
Beberapa waktu yang lalu, publik Indonesia dan Brazil digemparkan dengan meninggalnya traveler asal Brazil di Gunung Rinjani yang bernama Juliana. Meskipun tidak semua, namun banyak netizen Brazil yang menyalahkan pihak Indonesia karena dianggap terlalu lamban dalam melakukan penyelamatan. Netizen dari kedua negara pun saling bentrok, bahkan dengan kata-kata vulgar untuk membela kepentingan negaranya masing-masing. Akan tetapi di balik itu semua patut untuk digarisbawahi, bahwa tidak ada yang menginginkan kejadian tersebut termasuk dari pihak Indonesia. Indonesia membutuhkan turis, begitu juga sebaliknya. Hal ini pun tidak luput dari perhatian netizen global. Netizen global menjadi terpecah belah dengan berbagai argumentasi, namun, mayoritas menyayangkan sikap almarhum yang tidak meneliti secara mendalam tentang pendakian Gunung Rinjani. Dari semua bacotan di kolom komentar, tentu yang paling berhak mengemukakan pendapat adalah orang yang pernah merasakan pendakian Gunung Rinjani itu sendiri. Dan beberapa turis pun bersedia berbagi pengalaman terkait meninggalnya turis asal Brazil tersebut.
I've seen that a Brazilian tourist has fallen off Mount Rinjani at like 5 a.m. and honestly the news has like sent shivers down my spine because me and Gaz did that hike. I think it was summer last year.
Mental, wasn't it? It was like next level dangerous. I swear there was like hundreds of people doing it and like we turned around because we didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Loads of people were like, what are you doing? Just keep going. And it was like so windy on top of the ridge.
It was so cold. It was like the coldest. I felt like I couldn't think straight because I was so cold. Obviously the altitude, like no one even talks about altitude sickness with that hike. You're so high up, it's like 3,500 meters above sea level, like the altitude, the cold. You've already hiked, 7 hours the day before and you get up at 1 a.m. to do the summit hike, which is another 4 hours up a steep incline in the dark. No one's thinking clearly.
I think if you're a professional climber, you're probably listening to this and be like, oh yeah, that's normal. It is normal for professional climbers. But this was essentially just like a load of backpackers and tourists wearing trainers doing it.
Yeah, and I think like when we did it, we were like, why is there not more information out there saying like how hard it is? Because all you ever see online is just all these people summiting Mount Rinjani. So when we watched all of these videos on YouTube and we did our research, we were like, they look like us, we'll give it a go. And then obviously it puts your life at risk when you do stuff like that because you don't realise how dangerous it is. There should be more.
To show though, when you're backpacking, if you don't feel comfortable doing something, just turn around and don't do it because, yeah, the safety is not always there, is it?
No, it's just so scary. I feel like, I just really hope she's found safe and my thoughts with her family because when I saw that, I just felt sick. I just knew exactly what it would be like to fall down. Just a horrible, horrible news story. And if you're watching this and thinking about doing Mount Rinjani, only if you're an experienced climber should you be doing it really. Like, don't do what we did and think, how hard could it be? Just take the risks into account and, yeah.
Ada pula turis yang cukup lama tinggal di Indonesia, ia juga dengan penuh emosional memberikan pendapat. Menurutnya, orang Indonesia bukanlah orang yang lemah dalam pendakian untuk melakukan penyelamatan. Semua tidak semudah yang dibayangkan. Tantangannya bukan hewan buas yang masih dapat diatasi, akan tetapi alam yang memiliki misteri serta kekuatan luar biasa. Justru menurutnya, orang Indonesia adalah salah satu yang paling terampil di dunia dalam melakukan pendakian dan penyelamatan. Ia juga menyayangkan sikap dari keluarga korban yang menuntut ditutupnya Gunung Rinjani. Sementara bagi masyarakat sekitar, Gunung Rinjani adalah tempat ratusan, bahkan ribuan orang mencari nafkah. Dan lagi pula ini bukan kasus pembunuhan, melainkan kecelakaan. Tidak adil jika merugikan orang banyak, apalagi kepada mereka yang tidak salah apa-apa.
For days, my entire For You page has been about the tragedy that happened on Rinjani and the woman from Brazil, Juliana, who passed away because she fell into, I believe, the crater, or where all of the sand is on the top, all of the volcanic sand. And she wasn't able to be retrieved. And there's a lot of blame being put on the rescue team without considering the circumstances of Rinjani and the terrain and the difficulty of completing a rescue mission on an active volcano and how nearly impossible that can be. Combined with her clear lack of hiking skill, and this is by no means to disrespect her, it's really, really crucial as a tourist that if you choose to do a hike, even if people complain the tour guides all they want, and they say, oh, but everywhere in Lombok and everywhere in Indonesia, you see advertisements, hike Rinjani, hike Rinjani, hike Rinjani. But it's your job to research things yourself. They don't know you. They don't know your life experience. They don't know your skill level. Could they be asking more questions to better vet people to decide if they should be allowed to go up Rinjani? Sure. Absolutely. But you shouldn't hike an active volcano if you're not an experienced hiker. I've lived in Indo for 6 years. I've been invited by people to hike Rinjani many times. I won't do it because I'm not a hiker. I struggle going up to a small peak. I don't really enjoy hiking. It's not something I've tried to excel at and succeed with in my life. And when I saw how slippery it is towards the peak of Rinjani due to the sand, I know myself and I know how clumsy I am, and I know I would roll down that shit and you would never find me again. And that's just reality. So yes, there does need to be probably a regulation change in who is allowed to hike these places. But what happened to individual responsibility for our own choices and actions, and also recognizing risk? Because most of the time, if you do any high risk activity anywhere in the world, especially in the Western world, if that's what we're talking about, Western standards, you're going to have to sign something that says that they're not responsible for your life. You are. You are responsible for your life. And people saying, well, she was left behind and this, that. If you're choosing to hike in a group, because there's probably an option to get a private guide for a higher price point or to get a group guide, right? If you know that you are not an experienced hiker and you really want to go up Rinjani, then you should probably hire a private guide and not join a hiking group of people who probably have a pretty decent level of hiking experience and are able to complete the summit. If you hire a private guide and you need to take a rest, your guide can stand by you. But what is the guide supposed to do if they have, let's say, a group of 5 or 10 people and one person isn't feeling well? You either have to push through and stick with the group or you get left behind. And I know they say you're not supposed to leave anybody behind on a hike, but you're also not supposed to hike if you're not prepared to hike. That's just how hiking works. I saw that her family was they were shocked that Rinjani wasn't closed down because of their daughter's passing. And while I have so much respect for their grief and what they're probably experiencing and the shock they're going through right now, that's unfair to close an entire mountain down because of one person's irresponsibility. That's not fair. That's people's livelihood. And it's a beautiful place that a lot of people come to Indonesia just for that. And now maybe they've trained for it for a really long time. Maybe they spend a long time summiting smaller peaks to prepare for that hike. And now they're supposed to close it down because of one person's irresponsibility. And once again, I don't want to disrespect her in any way, but we need to use this opportunity to really take a moment to anywhere in the world and any activity that you're doing when you're on holiday, consider your skill level. I see it all the time with surfing. My partner has a surf school here in Bali, and he's very, very, very adamant that if people don't have a high skill level in swimming, or if they have fears around the ocean, they need to book a private lesson. Because people will want to be cheap and save $200K and book a group, and then they're miserable and they can't get back to the lineup and they're flapping around and freaking out. Is that the coach's fault? No. It's your fault for being cheap. Active volcanoes are not photo ops. In general. There was an instance just a few months back, I think it was I think it was Agung, somebody died on Agung because they tried to go up without a guide, probably trying to save money, and they died. And then Balinese people had to have so much ceremony, bring so much bantan, do so many offerings because somebody irresponsibly died on their sacred mountain. Accountability matters. It's extremely cloudy up there. If we're coming back to Rinjani, to cycle back to it one more time, it's extremely cloudy, very hard to send helicopters in. Nobody can go down that to retrieve somebody. If they send a rope down, there's no way for them to grip in because they're on sand. There are so many circumstances. So to repetitively disrespect the extremely skilled team that tried to rescue her is not necessary to honor her life. We mustn't blame people who have trained their entire lives for this. Indonesian hikers don't play games. So for you to act like they don't have the skill set and in this country they can do this and in this country they can do that, then you don't know Indonesian hikers. Because they are extremely good at their craft and they're very, 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 very skilled at mountaineering. I mean, Indonesian hikers will hike in flip-flops and live off of pot meat. And not to say that that's the way that you should hike, but I'm saying don't act like they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.